In this lesson, the three types of items we're going to look at the properties for are sound, images, and video. Before you can look at them yourself, though, you're going to need the media to work with. We're going to cover importing these things later on in the course, so for now, I've included a file that already has some things in it for you. It's in the work files, and it's called itemproperties.fla. Let's start with sound. In the library, locate the item called sound1.mp3. You can double-click its icon, and remember, of course, that you can also use the right-click or control-click on a Mac context menu to do this. Choose Properties here, or the Options menu. Selecting Properties here does the same thing as double-clicking on the icon in the items list. Flash now gives us a pretty little picture of the waveform of the sound and tells us some information about it. First off, where it came from, when it was created, and some more info about the sample rate, number of channels, bit depth, how long it is, and how big the original file is. Buttons at the right allow us to update the sound if the original file has changed, or choose Import to replace it with another sound, and finally we can test the sound and stop the testing playback. Next we have some export settings. The first one is Device Sound. This is used when we're exporting to Flash Lite for mobile devices, and we want the Flash player to use the mobile device's internal sounds. We're going to cover sound in depth later on in this course, so the rest of the export settings we can leave for now. Hit the Advanced button, and at the bottom we have the same linkage options that we saw before when we looked at symbol properties. So let's move on to video. Locate testvideo.avi and open the properties for that. These are pretty simple. We have the symbol name and then a choice between embedded or video. Most of our choices dealing with video are made when we import the video files, but you can change at least this for now. Flash then tells us again some information about our video here. On the right we have similar import and update buttons. As we'll learn later on in this course, compression of video in Flash is done on import, so when we re-import video, of course we get to make all of the compression choices again. More on that later. And finally, we have an export button for this one. Hit it, and you'll see that you can export FLV Flash video directly from the video properties. And last but not least, let's look at bitmap properties. Locate greenball.jpg, open the properties for that, and you'll see the usual info at the top and at the right. In the advanced area, we have linkage. The difference here is in the middle. Allow smoothing simply smooths out bitmaps so they look a bit better under certain conditions. Leaving this on or off is a matter of choice. I usually turn it off because I prefer my bitmaps to look exactly as I imported them. And next we have a compression method, photo and lossless. These options, as labeled in the menu here, work in roughly the same way as popular compression methods used in web pages. Photo, or JPEG, is a lossy format that will drop some visual quality, but it's very well suited to images like photographs. Lossless, on the other hand, works best with computer-generated images with large areas of flat color. Finally, with photo selected, we can either use the quality setting of the imported picture by leaving this selected, or we can specify our own. Now remember this setting, as it often makes the difference between a reasonable file size and a huge one if your Flash contains lots of pictures. I always turn this off and tailor my compression to suit each individual image. My suggestion is to experiment, hit the test button over on the right, and check the quality in the preview window here against the compressed size shown here. Pick one that strikes a good balance between visual quality and file size. Okay, that's it for the other item properties in the library panel. Time for the next lesson.